Il va tenter de stopper à 6 la séquence de victoire de son adversaire Steve Garcia ce samedi du côté de l'Apex à Las Vegas. On a le plaisir de s'entretenir avec celui qui est classé au 13e rang de la division des poids plumes de l'UFC. Il sera en finale sur TVA Sports ce samedi. David Onama, comment ça va? Merci énormément de prendre le temps.
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for your time. Ninth fight for you in the UFC, your first main event in the big promotion.
Yeah,
How are you feeling right now, a few days away?
I'm feeling real good. Me and my team, we just touched down in Las Vegas. We just checked in. So yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Like you said, it's my first main event, in the UFC, and I'm here for it, So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
What does it mean to you? Do you approach it differently? It's a big kind of a big thing for a fighter, right?
Yeah, it's really big for me. This is everything that I dream of, and it's finally here, in front of me. This weekend, this is everything I dream of, So it's exciting for me, my family, my friends, my teammates, I'm doing this for them, So yeah, it's a big moment for me, for sure.
Will there be a few people there? I don't know. It doesn't. There's a few thousand, like 1,000 people that can attend. So a few family members will be there.
Yeah, I have some family members coming in. I have some cousins that purchased some tickets. So it's gonna be a lot of people that are coming out to support me. Especially my family. My dad will be in the building. My mom is she's still thinking about it, but I think she'll end up coming too. So I'm waiting on her to let me know so she can confirm. So it'll be a lot of family that are coming to support me this weekend.
Yeah, mothers. Sometimes they don't like to see their baby fighting,
Yeah,
right? Is that it?
yeah. So she's like, "Oh, let me think about it. Let me think about it, and then I'll let you know." So I'm here waiting on her to give me the green light. So. Yeah.
Do you see it as I don't know, as an opportunity for you make a name for yourself and just showcase your skills? Do you put a little bit more pressure on yourself in that sense?
Yeah, for sure. I always say this, like I belong in the UFC, I belong in this division, and I just feel like, after, I go out there and perform and, get my hand raised this weekend, I can see myself potentially being in the top 10, for sure. So I just got to go out there and just, do me, against Steve Garcia. He's also an upcoming prospect, so, I'm looking forward to it this weekend.
Before we dive in this matchup more technically, it's a 5 round fight. You're first,
Yeah.
I think. Did you
hmm
change anything during your camp? Put more emphasis maybe on conditioning or something like that, or more of the same?
For this camp, more conditioning. It's my first main event, ever in my career. So the thing that I really changed up is my cardio, my endurance. Doing more a lot of like sparring rounds, like in the cave, doing like 5 rounds. Um, my strength and conditioning. We're doing a lot of endurance, like cardio work. So that's a lot of things that I switched more in my camp. It's being there and just fighting through. Fighting through the rounds and just staying there. Is what we worked on just for this camp.
You just said it yourself. Steve Garcia is another prospect, flying under the radar maybe, but 6 wins in a row, five
Yeah.
finishes.
hmm
You yourself have 4 wins in a row.
Yeah.
So two of the oddest fighters in the featherweight division. How do you see this
hmm
matchup technically this weekend? What kind of fight can we expect?
Yeah. Steve is exciting. I'm exciting. I think he has like five finishes and I have like 5 wins in a row. And I think it's a matchup that the UFC wanted to see. And this is why we're with the headline for this weekend because we're both excited. We both bring fireworks, and that's what the fans in the UFC want to see. And this is why we're scheduled to fight this weekend. So
What's his biggest strength, you think?
I think Steve's biggest strength is the guy. He's durable. What I mean, he's durable. He's tough. If anything, just him just being durable and just being in the fight. So I think that's his biggest thing is he's durable.
Do you feel I was looking at your resumes? He's mostly a striker. He doesn't have any submission wins. You have a few in your
hmm
career.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself maybe a more complete fighter? And can you do you could it go to the ground at some point? Because we all know you. you love to strike as well. So
Yeah, I prefer striking, but if it goes to the ground, then it goes to the ground. But that's not the game plan. Is not to what I mean. Hopefully the fight doesn't go to the ground. So my biggest thing is keeping the fight standing. So yeah, I don't think the fight will go to the ground. Unless something happens and ends there. But if not, it is what it is. So I'm looking forward to it.
um, you started your UFC career 2-2. You racked up 4 wins in a row since then. So can you
Yeah.
describe maybe uh, what's your evolution as a fighter in the last few years? How much did you improve and did you change a little bit?
Yeah, so I started off my UFC career with 2-2. I lost my UFC debut. I feel that's my first loss ever in my career, and I feel like me losing that fight. Honestly, it bettered me as a man. It told me like keep going. What I mean, with wins or loses, what I mean, keep going, keep climbing, keep improving, keep getting better. And I feel like as a man and a fighter, I learned so much from my UFC debut. What I mean, when I lost against Mason Jones, I feel like that fight helped me a lot to what I mean, improve as a fighter and just keep going. I feel like once I lost that debut, I just got so much better, as a fighter. Just not giving up and just kind of training and training, like watching film and working on the things that I needed to do, to better my game. And I just stuck on that and I just kept showing up and just facing the results, you know. So
What did you improve the most, you think, in the last few years?
last few years, I think I proved more like on my IQ, being more of a smarter fighter, more technical. Yeah, if anything, just being more smart, IQ, and just picking my shots instead of just kind of going out there and just to fight. So I'll prove more on my IQ a lot.
You just you just come off of the biggest win of your career against Giga Chikadze. It was last April in your
Yeah.
hometown of Kansas
Mhm.
City.
Yeah.
You entered the top 15 with this win. So with
Mhm.
all the emotions, the fact that you entered the ranking as well,
Yeah.
how much does this win is how big of a confidence booster is it to have a win like that on your resume?
Man, having a win, in my hometown in Kansas City, Missouri, that meant a lot to me. It's a big moment for me. Especially just from my family, like my friends, and just everybody that always been there for me and just like supported me from the beginning to the top. I always wanted to fight at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. You know what I mean? Since I started my MMA career, this is where I wanted to be in UFC and fight here. I remember UFC came to Kansas City a couple of times and I couldn't fight on there, but my coach was able to. My coach Zach was still fighting at that time, and he fought on that card, and he just told me, "Look," and I told him like one day I want to fight on this arena. He just told me like keep doing what you're doing, keep showing up, and then like and then he retired, and then the UFC came back to Kansas City, and then they put me on that card, and then he cornered me for that fight, and then he was like, "I told you, I mean, just keep showing up, and like, look, now here you are, fighting, Giga, for top 15 spot, and that moment it meant a lot to me, because this is everything that I dreamed of, and it's happening in my hometown was amazing, you know.
So coming off of that first main event in the UFC as well. So what do you want
Yeah.
to show the world this Saturday?
Yeah, so this Saturday I want to show the world that like what I'm capable of. That I belong in the UFC, I belong in the division, and once I get my hand raised this weekend, I'll be top 10, for sure. So yeah, you know.
We'll wish you the best of luck, David Onama. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you fight this weekend against Steve Garcia. Should be a good one. Thanks. Take
Right
care.
on. Thank you so much, brother.
Traduction rapide des commentaires de David Onama qui réalise un rêve ce week-end en étant en finale d'un gala de l'UFC. Sa première finale, il le fait pour sa famille, ses amis, son entourage, ses coachs, tout le monde qui l'a aidé à se rendre jusque-là. Un grand moment pour lui dans sa carrière. Il veut envoyer, bien sûr, un message à la division des poids plumes. Un gars à prendre au sérieux. Il sera à surveiller, David Onama, qui vise une 5e victoire consécutive contre Steve Garcia. Ce sera son premier combat de 5 rounds également. Donc, bien sûr, l'emphase à l'entraînement a été mise sur la condition physique, l'endurance aussi, mais il se sent prêt à relever ce défi. Il s'attend à un bon combat contre un autre très très bon combattant, Garcia, qui est classé un rang devant lui, 12e, sur une séquence de 6 victoires, dont 5 avant la limite. Donc ça va être tout un défi. Et c'est un peu pour ça qu'on les a mis en grande finale, selon lui. C'est pas des gars qui sont très très bien classés, 12e et 13e, mais deux styles qui se marient très bien, deux gars très offensifs. Et ça devrait donner, selon David Onama, des feux d'artifice ce samedi en direct de l'Apex. La plus grande force de Steve Garcia, je lui ai posé la question, selon lui, c'est un gars qui a du cœur au ventre, n'abandonne jamais. Donc, s'il réussit à en finir avant la limite, ce sera tout un exploit, encore un plus gros exploit, selon lui. On ne s'attend pas à ce que ça aille au sol nécessairement. Il a plus de soumissions que son adversaire. Garcia est surtout reconnu pour son combat debout. Onama également, donc, veut donner un bon spectacle aux amateurs, un bon combat debout. C'est ce qui nous attend ce samedi. Il a commencé sa carrière avec 2 victoires et 2 défaites, mais depuis, 4 victoires consécutives. Donc, moment clé, selon lui, c'est quand il a appris vraiment à mieux gérer ses combats. Il a beaucoup amélioré son QI de combattant. Au début, il se considérait peut-être plus comme un bagarreur. Maintenant, vraiment, un combattant intelligent, choisit ses moments, s'entraîne mieux également, tend des pièges, et c'est ce qui lui permet d'obtenir du succès. Sa plus grosse victoire, il l'a obtenue à sa dernière sortie contre Giga Chikadze, c'était en avril, et c'était une victoire émotive pour lui, parce que c'était à la maison. C'est un gars qui réside à Kansas City, et ça se passait là-bas au Missouri, au T-Mobile Center. C'était un rêve vraiment pour lui de se battre dans cet amphithéâtre. Il n'avait pas eu la chance les fois précédentes où l'UFC était passé par là de prendre part à l'événement. Mais là, il a vraiment profité devant une salle comble. Il est allé chercher la plus grosse victoire de sa carrière contre un gars très durable, un gars très très bon également en Giga Chikadze, le Géorgien. Et ça lui a permis d'entrer dans le top 15. Donc, veut poursuivre sur cette belle lancée avec une 5e victoire de suite ce samedi. David Onama contre Steve Garcia. C'est en finale du gala UFC qu'on vous présente ce samedi dès 17h sur les ondes de TVA Sports 2.